All right, you're welcome to the first session of the Cloud Momentum series on how to control costs and manage expenses, particularly on cloud. We're glad to have you. This is the first of 3 series on our Cloud Momentum series, and we are glad to have you join us from wherever you are joining us. My name is David, and I am a Senior Group Marketing Manager at CloudPlexo. CloudPlexo is an advanced and consulting technology company across different technology and cloud services. We help companies to modernize and optimize their processes, as well as implement AI in their processes. We help companies also stay very agile and secure in the modern technology world. So our services range from helping with migration to cost optimization to modernization of cloud to cybersecurity and AI, basically anything that has to do with digital transformation on cloud and technically. So we're glad to host this. We are headquartered in the UK and we have our presence across different cities of the world. Today, we will be talking about how to control costs and to manage expenses. And I'll be introducing our expert for today. Our expert for today is none other than Joash, and Joash is a senior solutions architect at CloudPlexo. Joash has a vast experience across different cloud platforms, and he helps customers to build, optimize, migrate, and implement very agile solutions across cloud and AI to help them succeed in the ever-changing technology world. And with that, we are welcoming Joash to share a bit about what he'll be telling us today. So Josh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thanks. In yourself, David?
Great. So Josh, what do you have for us today?
So today we're just going to take a bit of a deep dive into what creates cloud cost in the cloud and how do we remediate it and actually see a futuristic plan and set out a goal for us to achieve as a business. So that's kind of what's our overview today. And we're also going to be sharing some good opportunities for us to assist all of the businesses in the call to see how exactly we can save them on their costing, and as well as also give them an opportunity to meet with us and basically give them value from that session.
Great. Sounds like a great plan. I think I would get my jotters ready also to take notes, because I'm also here to learn from you just as you are presenting. And with that, I think we can pan it over to you where you can share your screen and I can also disappear to the background. I would like to see some emojis as we get started and hand over to Joash. All right, great. So we have that sorted. And so Josh, you can share your screen now and take us through what you have in store for us.
Perfect. So you guys can just let me know as soon as you guys can all see my screen. Perfect. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. It's a pleasure to be here with so many technology leaders, architects, engineers, and business decision makers. Whether you're responsible for cloud strategy, infrastructure security, or technology investments, I think we can all agree on one thing. So a decade ago, technology primarily supported the business. Today, technology is the business. Technology now powers customer experience, enables remote work, drives innovation, fuels artificial intelligence, and shapes how organizations compete in their markets. So cloud has been one of the biggest drivers of this transformation. So it fundamentally changed how we think about technology, not because it's simply another hosting platform, but because it removed the barriers that once slowed businesses down. So not long ago, provisioning infrastructure could take weeks. Scaling an application often required purchasing new hardware. Scaling an application often required a lot of purchasing of new hardware in the past. Now, launching into a new region demanded significant planning and capital investment. So today, those same activities can happen in minutes. That speed has transformed the way that organizations innovate. For example, startups can scale globally from day one. Enterprises can modernize legacy systems much faster. Deployment teams can release new features continuously instead of waiting for quarterly deployment windows. Cloud has delivered on its promise to us. Now, every major technological shift introduced a new challenge. In the case of the cloud, the challenge isn't technology, it's control. Because when it becomes incredibly easy to deploy resources, it also becomes incredibly easy to lose visibility over them. Many organizations haven't reached this point because they've made poor technology decisions. They've reached it because they've made many good decisions, but a bit too quickly. So, for example, a new application, a new development environment, additional storage, a larger database, new services to support growing demand. Individually, every decision makes sense. Collectively, those decisions create an environment that's significantly more complex. So this is why cloud costs have become an executive level discussion. Not because organizations are simply spending more on technology, but because technology investments has become one of the most significant drivers of business growth. The conversation has evolved. It is no longer, how do we reduce cloud costs? The real question has become, are we getting the maximum value from every investment we make? That's the important difference. Reducing costs is easy, creating value while managing costs intelligently, that's leadership. So today's session isn't about spending less, it's about spending smarter. The goal is to build cloud environments that are resilient, scalable, well-governed, and financially sustainable. Whether you're using Azure, AWS, GCP, or even multiple cloud providers, the challenge is the same: maintaining the control, enabling the innovation, and ensuring technology investments deliver business value. So, cloud has evolved from hosting a few applications to powering virtually every aspect of modern business, from compute and databases to AI, security, networking, disaster recovery. As cloud adoption grows, so does the investment. The real question isn't why cloud costs increase, it's whether the growth is intentional and aligned with what the business wants to achieve. So there are 4 common reasons why organizations lose control of cloud costs. Not because they are doing something wrong, but because success creates complexity. So here on screen, we have the 4 reasons for cost overruns. I'm going to walk us through each and every one in detail. So the first one being lack of visibility. You simply can't optimize what you can't see. In many organizations, different teams provision services for different projects. These teams might include your development teams, your operation teams, your data engineering, your security, and your different business units within your organization. Over time, cloud environments grow organically. Without clear visibility, leaders begin asking questions such as, who owns this workload? Is anyone still using this environment? Why are we paying for the resources that nobody can explain? When those questions can't be answered quickly, it's usually a sign that visibility needs to improve. Visibility isn't just about dashboards. It's about understanding how technology supports business outcomes. Only when you understand where your cloud investment is going can you actually make informed decisions about where to optimize. The second one that we have on the screen is weak governance. So governance often gets a bad reputation. People hear the word and immediately think, wow, okay, restrictions, more approvals, more paperwork, slower delivery, they just automatically don't even want to go near it. But effectively, governance should achieve the exact opposite. It should enable the innovation within your business. The best cloud environments aren't the ones with the most rules, it's the ones with the clearest standards. Examples would be keeping a consistent naming convention within your environment, making sure that every single resource in your environment is tagged, making sure that you've set up budget alerts so that when you hit that 50 and 75% mark during the course of the month, you understand when that date was so you're not overrun with these costs. Creating lifecycle policies within your environment and making sure that your security, you have implemented guardrails so that it cannot be overrun. These aren't just designed to slow your teams down. They're designed to help your organization scale with confidence. Good governance creates consistency, and consistency reduces unnecessary costing. Our third one that we're going to look at is poor optimization. Cloud gives organizations incredible flexibility. We can all agree on that. You can scale infrastructure up within minutes. The challenge is remembering to scale it back down when demand changes. Many workloads are initially deployed with future growth in mind. That's absolutely the right approach. However, businesses prioritize change. Projects evolve, applications mature. If your environments aren't reviewed regularly, organizations often continue paying for yesterday's requirements instead of today's reality. Optimization isn't about making everything smaller, it's about making everything appropriate. The right resource for the right workload at the right time. Regular reviews ensure cloud resources continue to align with current business needs instead of your historic assumptions that may have been maybe 6 months ago, 12 months ago. That's the main purpose of it. The fourth point that I'm going to touch on is unclear ownership. So this is probably the most overlooked factor by far. Technology teams understand how to optimize cloud environments. Your finance department understands how to do the budgets. Leadership understands strategic priorities. The problem is that these groups don't always work from the same information. Cloud optimization isn't solely an engineer's responsibility or the finance department's responsibility or a leadership responsibility. It's a business responsibility. The organizations seeing the greatest success are the ones bringing these teams together. Each team contributes a different perspective. Engineers understand the performance. Finance understand the financial planning. Leadership understands the business priority. When these perspectives come together, better decisions naturally follow. So I'm going to go to the next slide, which is called Shifting the Conversation. So cloud optimizations isn't a one-time cost-cutting exercise. It's a culture of continuous improvement. Regular reviews, data-driven decisions, and removing unnecessary resources ensure every technology investment delivers measurable business value. Cloud isn't expensive. Waste, complexity, poor visibility, and missed opportunities are. The goal isn't to simply spend less, but to spend better, ensuring cloud investments support innovation, security, customer experience, and long-term business growth.
Thank you, Josh. Just to cut here for a second and to recap on a few things that you had mentioned earlier. You said cloud isn't expensive, but waste, complexity, poor visibility and missed opportunities are. And you've told us about why aligning the team culture for visibility, for proper governance would contribute to a clear cloud strategy and help in reducing cost. So you've talked about most of the problems now, but how do we get to the solutions in terms of helping organizations optimize their cloud processes? How are you thinking about it?
So that's actually a really good question there, David. So what I'm about to discuss with everybody is the 4 principles of cloud cost optimization. So if cloud costs aren't simply a technology problem, as I discussed, what do organizations that consistently manage cloud well actually do differently compared to others? After working with a few organizations across different industries and at different stages of their cloud journey, we've noticed something very, very interesting. The organizations that succeed don't necessarily have bigger budgets. They don't always have larger technology teams, and they certainly don't have fewer challenges. What they do have is a disciplined approach to managing cloud. Whether they're running Microsoft Azure, AWS, Google Cloud, or a hybrid environment, the principles remain remarkably consistent. Today, we're going to go through the 4 principles that they hold dear to them. The first principle being visibility before optimization. So one of the biggest mistakes organizations make is trying to optimize cloud costs before they fully understand where their money is going. Imagine trying to reduce your household expenses without knowing what you're spending each month. You wouldn't know where to start. Cloud is exactly the same. You should be able to answer questions such as which workloads consume the most resources, which departments own them, which applications are business critical, where are the costs increasing, which services are underutilized. Fortunately, today's cloud platforms already provide powerful tools that make this so much more simpler. On Azure, you have the Azure Cost Management tool. On AWS, you have the Cost Explorer. On GCP, you have Google Cloud Billing, which gives you detailed reports about everything that I've discussed. So the real value comes from reviewing the information consistently and using it to make informed business decisions, because visibility doesn't reduce the cost. Visibility enables better decisions. The second principle that we're going to look at is governance without slowing innovation. There's often a misconception that governance creates bureaucracy. In reality, good governance creates confidence. It allows your teams to innovate knowing there are sensible guardrails in place. Simple governance practices can have a significant impact. So an example would be clear ownership, ensuring that your resources are tagged within your account, making sure that your budget notifications are set within your environment, make sure that you have your policies in place to prevent unnecessary deployments, make sure that you have lifecycle management within your environment. These aren't merely technical control, so to say, they're business control. They ensure cloud environments remain organized and organizations grow. The goal isn't to tell your engineering department, no, you can't do this deployment or you can't deploy this new application. The goal is to help everyone make better decisions from the very beginning. That's how organizations scale without losing control. Principle 3 is make automation your best engineer. One of the greatest advantages of cloud is automation. Yet many organizations still rely on manual processes for activities and technology can't handle it automatically. Automation can help with scheduling development environments to shut down after hours. This could save a lot of cost, especially if you're using an environment from 8 in the morning to only 5 p.m. in the evening. So you're saving costs from 5 p.m. till 8 o'clock the next morning. Automatically scaling applications based on demand. That's a second example. Monitoring unusual spending patterns, applying policies consistently across environments, automating compliance checks. These aren't futuristic capabilities. They are available today across every major cloud platform. Automation creates the consistency. Consistency reduces the human error. And reducing the human error almost always improves cost efficiency. More importantly, automation allows your team to spend less time managing infrastructure and more time creating value for the business. And finally, our fourth principle is cloud optimization is never finished. This is perhaps the most important principle of all. Cloud optimization isn't a project, it's an operating model. Technology changes constantly. Business priorities evolve. Applications grow, new services become available, pricing models improve, AI capabilities continue to expand. If your organization only reviews costs once a year, it's not going to help in the long run. The most successful organizations review continuously. They measure, they improve, and they adapt their environments, not because something has gone wrong, but because optimization has become part of how they operate. Cloud should evolve alongside your business. So, cloud optimization is not just a technology challenge, it's a leadership challenge. Visibility, governance, automation, and continuous improvements are enabled by technology, but made successful by people. The best results come when technology, finance, operations, security, and business teams work together towards a shared business outcome. So the question is no longer whether organizations should move to the cloud, but how to maximize the value of every investment once they're there. True cloud maturity means moving beyond simply running workloads to building a cloud strategy that drives long-term business growth. So everything we've discussed today sounds straightforward in principles. You improve visibility, you strengthen governance, you automate where it makes sense, and you continuously optimize. But if it was that easy, every organization would already be doing it. The reality is that every business is different. Some organizations are taking their first steps in the cloud. Others are managing hundreds or even thousands of cloud resources across multiple regions and multiple cloud providers. Some are focused on reducing costs. Others are preparing for the AI adoption. Some are modernizing legacy applications. Others are navigating compliance, security, or licensing challenges. The point is, there isn't a single cloud journey. There are thousands of different journeys. And that's why choosing the right technology partner matters. So at CloudPlexo, we don't see ourselves as a company that simply deploys cloud infrastructure. We see ourselves as a long-term technology partner. Our role is to help organizations make better technology decisions, not just for today, but for where they want to be tomorrow. Whether that's cloud migration, modernization, cost optimization, security, AI adoption, and building a multi-cloud strategy, our focus is always the same: helping our customers maximize the value of their technology investment. So, one of the questions we've most frequently asked is, where do we begin? Over the years, we found that many organizations consistently need support in 6 key areas. That's why we've built a package that removes many of the barriers organizations face when adopting or expanding Microsoft technologies while still applying the cloud best practices we've discussed today. Let me briefly walk you through each of them. So, the first being confidence after deployment. Technology projects don't end when systems go live. In many ways, that's where the real journey begins. To help customers through this transition, we're currently offering the 2 months of complimentary technical support. This gives your team direct access to our specialist for technical guidance, troubleshooting, optimization recommendations, and ongoing health checks. Because successful cloud adoption isn't just about implementing technology, it's about ensuring your teams are supported long after the first deployment happens. The second being strengthening security. Cloud optimization and security should never be viewed as separate conversations, ever. A secure environment is often a more efficient environment. That's why we're offering a complimentary Microsoft security assessment. During this assessment, we review identity, endpoint protection, compliance, security posture, and governance. The outcome isn't simply just another technical report. It's a clear set of prioritized recommendations that leadership teams can take to use to strengthen their overall security strategy. So, preparing your organization for AI. Artificial intelligence is rapidly moving, as we all know, from experimentation into everyday business operations. But successful AI adoption isn't about deploying technology simply because it's available. It's about solving real business problems. Through our AgentSpec platform, organizations can explore intelligent automation with Microsoft environments in a secure and governed way. Whether that's improving productivity, automating repetitive tasks, or supporting internal teams, AI should always create measurable business value. That's why we're including a complimentary access as part of this program. 4, we are empowering people through training. One of the biggest reasons technology projects struggle is because the technology doesn't work. It's because people don't feel confident using it. That's why we provide complimentary Microsoft training programs covering Microsoft 365, Azure fundamentals, security, governance, and Copilot readiness. Business technology only delivers value when people embrace it. So we also want to prove value before any investment is made. Every organization wants confidence before making strategic technology decisions. That's completely understandable. Rather than asking a customer to commit first, we offer a complimentary POC or proof of concept. This allows organizations to experience solutions within their own environment, validate the business outcomes, build a clear roadmap before moving into production. It removes the uncertainty and it helps ensure every investment is backed by measurable value. So, our complimentary cloud cost savings assessment. So, This finally, the offering that aligns perfectly with today's discussion, our complimentary cloud cost savings assessment. This is much more than a review of your monthly cloud invoice. It's a strategic assessment of your technology environment, designed to identify opportunities to reduce the costs, improve efficiency, and maximize value of your IT investment. During the assessment, we would review your cloud consumption, your Microsoft licensing and subscription costs, your resource utilization, your governance and operational best practices, your opportunities for optimization, your potential cost savings, your future growth and scalability planning. As a Microsoft partner, we can also help organizations reduce costs through the Microsoft licensing assessments and discounted licensing options that we do offer, ensuring you on the right licensing model while avoiding the unnecessary spend. The result is a practical roadmap highlighting immediate cost saving opportunities, longer term optimization initiatives, Microsoft licensing recommendations, strategy to maximize the return on your technology investment, which is the most important, because reducing the cost is only part of the equation. Our goal is to help organizations optimize both their cloud infrastructure and software licensing so that they can invest in technology with confidence. So, we've spoken about why cloud costs increase, we've explored the principles that help organizations manage them effectively, and we've looked at how having the right partner can accelerate your journey. So, I'd like to leave you with one final perspective before we open the floor to any questions that we might have. So, as we come to the end of today's session, I'd like to leave you with a final thought. When organizations first begin moving to the cloud, success was often measured by one thing: did we migrate successfully? Today, the definition has changed. Success isn't simply about being in the cloud, it's about how effectively you operate once you're there. Cloud is just it's not just infrastructure anymore. It's where businesses innovate, it's where customers interact with your services, it's where data is transformed into insights, it's where AI is changing the way we look at how we see things. And increasingly, it's about where competitive advantage is built, which means managing cloud costs isn't about reducing spend at all costs. It's about making every investment count. So the organizations that will lead over the next 5 years won't necessarily be those with the biggest technology budgets. And they won't necessarily be those with the smallest cloud bills. They'll be the organizations that understand exactly where they're investing, why they're investing, and what value they're creating in return. That's what cloud maturity looks like. It's visibility, governance, continuous optimization, and making technology decisions with confidence. At Cloud Plexo, that's exactly what we're passionate about: helping organizations simplify complexity, helping technology teams move faster without losing control, helping the leadership teams make informed decisions, helping businesses unlock the full value of cloud, AI, security, and modern workplace technologies. Whether you're just beginning in your cloud journey, expanding into a multi cloud environment, optimizing existing workflows, exploring AI for the first time, or have already been on your AI journey, we're there to assist. Our goal is always the same: to become a trusted technology partner that helps you navigate change with confidence. Because technology never stands still, and neither should the way that we manage it. So, as part of today's webinar, we're offering a complimentary cloud cost savings assessment, which David mentioned earlier in the conversation. Our team will review your cloud and Microsoft environment, identify cost optimization opportunities, strengthen the governance, and provide practical recommendations to maximize your business value. You can simply scan the QR code or use the link in the chat to schedule a discovery session. I will leave this up for a second or two for everybody who's interested to please scan um, on this QR code. Okay, perfect. We can um, So before we close, let me leave you with my one final story. We recently worked just as a proof of concept for everybody on the call. So we recently worked with a large fintech organization that assumed its cloud costs were simply the price of it growing so quickly. They were growing so fast that the technology couldn't keep up. After we carried out a cloud cost assessment, we identified opportunities to optimize so many of the resources. We improved their licensing and we strengthened their governance. And the key thing is that we did this without disrupting the business. The result was lower cloud costs overall. They had better operation efficiency and a cloud environment that delivered more value to their business. That's why we're offering this complimentary cloud cost savings assessment. Sometimes the greatest opportunity isn't spending less on the cloud, it's making every dollar you spend work harder for you. So thank you, everybody on the call. And I think, yeah, just here to round up the discussion, and I'll hand it back to David.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Joash. Thank you for such a fantastic presentation. And I really like the story that you ended it with, to show that it was more than just explaining that it's possible, but also showing that it's something we've done before and we can help other companies to reduce their cloud costs, modernize their processes, and innovate on cloud. And so there we have it. We can take questions for Josh now. If you have any questions that have to do with reducing cloud costs or costs across board, I think we can take that. But I was going to also ask Josh, do you touch on things that have to do, they're not exactly cloud, but they have to do with costs in terms of cloud native solutions when it comes to licenses? Did you touch on that in your session?
Yes, so we do take a look at an organization's approach and how many licenses that they have running, and we make sure that we optimize it for the current business model that they're operating on and how many people that they have within their organization. And we also offer discounts. Once somebody books a call in, we can obviously discuss that further with them.
Fantastic. So for all the Microsoft licenses, server licenses, M365 licenses, clients can get them optimized and also get a discount package through CloudPlex. So is that correct?
That is correct.
Fantastic. Okay, and so with that, I think we can begin to wind down. If you have questions, I think you can either signify by raising your hand, or in the chat box. I'll be reading all the comments. Meanwhile, I've dropped a link in the chat. In case you are not able to scan the code on the presentation deck, you can simply click on the link in the chat and we can take it up from there. Otherwise, you can also reach out to us at CloudPlexo through the email on the deck, which is info@cloudplexo.com. We are always 24/7 ready to answer whatever request you have. Okay, how do you see, if you don't have questions, you probably have comments about how the presentation was and what you're taking out of the session. I think you can also drop that in the chat as we round off. And so we have a couple of ways you can reach out to us at CloudPlexo here, and that's on your screen, which is email via contact@cloudplexo.com. We are also available on LinkedIn. Simply search CloudPlexo. This is our official line here, and our website is easy to get, which is cloudplexo.com. Any of these outreach options are fine with us. We are an agile team and we're also flexible. We work with you with respect to whatever request you bring, and as the scope changes, we're also ready to adapt with you. We know that the technology changes are not always static. They always evolve as the technology landscape evolves. All right, and this is also a reminder that this is just the first session of the 3 for the comprehensive series that will be running. And so you have an opportunity to partake in 2 other sessions. The second and next session will be on AI readiness, which is how do you prepare your data? How do you better structure your infrastructure to be best prepared to implement AI? It's been found that the way you structure your setup has a lot to impact on how much your token costs are going to be like, how much your cloud costs will be like. So that's one of the things we'll be taking a deep dive into next week on the Cloud Momentum series. So you want to hang in for that one. Or okay, I think we have exhausted the conversation, and with that, I think we can begin to wind down. I'll just ask if Josh has any last words for us, or any more things to share, or where people can, where I just position the question like this, and then you take it and then end it with your last words. So with all you've shared now, where can people start from? We know that there's a chance to speak with CloudPlexo, but if they wanted to consider cost optimization at an organization level, where should they be starting from? What are the very simple things that they could start from before they get to ignite a conversation with CloudPlexo? And then after that, you can then end it with your last words.
So I would say the key point and takeaway is the 4 main key factors that I've discussed earlier. So it was visibility being a very, very big part of optimizing code, optimizing the environment, sorry. And then of course, it's going to be the governance perspective. So I think if everybody on the call would sit with the organization and gather them together and basically create a collaborative effort between the financing department, the leadership, and the technology teams, they'd be able to really create a good business value, and they'd be able to optimize their spend and actually get to the bottom of why their spend is increasing so drastically, maybe within the environment. So I think that's kind of just an important key takeaway for me.
Great, and that sounds like a very fantastic place to end. And with that, I would say thank you to everyone who has joined us on the session. I'd see you same time next Friday for the second edition of the Cloud Momentum series. Meanwhile, if you have any questions that come up, maybe when you're watching the recording will also be available to everyone who had registered for this session earlier. If you had not registered, you might want to quickly go to any of our social platforms, or also go to the link that will be in the chat shortly. Through that, you'll be able to access all the recordings for all the Cloud Momentum series. And then we can take it from there. If you need a specialized cloud cost optimization session or audit, the link is also in the chat. You can reach out to us and we would help you out from there. Thank you all for joining the session, and we will catch you next week, same time, for the next session on the Cloud Momentum series. I wish you a successful weekend and do enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you all.